Hello, my friends. This is Lada from AstroladaOfficial. And today I'm here with healer, astrologer, so many things. Marianne from Australia. Hello, Marianne. Can you tell us,
Hi, Lara. How are you?
for those of you who see you for the first time, what exactly it is you do and what exactly it is your story maybe shortly, and we're going to talk about trauma recovery today.
Yes, yes. Well, if you could look at it like this, how many people in the world are suffering from anxiety and depression? And I can see the vibration in people's astrology through the chart because I look at numbers. And ultimately, I come from what they clinically describe as the top 5% in child abuse. So my whole journey for 30 odd years has been in different aspects of learning professionally and personally in trauma recovery. And so as a psychic, you know, when you're a little girl and you're seeing things flying around the room and you're living in trauma, it's a pretty scary place to be. Yeah. And so I bring all my gifts together when I'm talking about trauma recovery from a viewpoint of energy, emotional intelligence, and all the skills to come together to help somebody have a self-expression that is healthy versus how it generally plays out through medication and addiction, fear, broken relationships, all those sorts of things. So it's my life work and I am of service, and this is what brings people to life, coming home to themselves, you know. And doing it on this Virgo new moon ladder is, in my meditation, I got told what the Virgo new moon is actually speaking to us in this level of consciousness this time, which is divine perfection.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So sorry, I had to move around because my signal was weak and I got distracted. But can you lead us through, because you lead courses as well and workshops on trauma and on addictions and everything. Usually addiction and trauma, they go hand in hand. Can you tell us a little bit more about trauma and the topic we're
Yeah. So a lot of people think that you have to have chronic things happen to you when you were little to even diagnose the vibration of trauma. And so what I get people to look at is, if you were to write like draw a circle on the middle of a page and put my self-worth expression, and then put rays out of it like the sun, and ask yourself to write down as many descriptive words how your self-expression plays out in your life, right? You could focus on career, your relationships, your health, mental, emotional, physical, financial, your creativity. However it plays out. Is it playing out in abundance and joy and happiness and flow, or is it playing out in suffering in some way, addiction, medication, self-medicating, fear, lack of progression? So we know that a child can be in a situation where they may have been faced with really strong violence in the house, or sexual abuse or anything like that. And then somebody else can have multiple complex traumas, and they both experience the same field of resistance, which is the nervous system goes into freeze. Coupled with that, the belief system plays out that I'm not enough, and the lack of taking risks in life, or the extreme of taking too many risks, is not in balance. And so somebody will either go for gold, trying to get every certificate possible, trying to have a grandiose idea to save the world, This is a trauma response.
Oh, it's not like idealism. It's actually trying to save everyone as well. It's a trauma response.
Yeah. So you can go to the doctor in a medical response from the psychiatry format of life. Started in 1920 with, I think, 130 diagnoses of trauma. That's a medical response. So the only reaction to that is medication or a label, like you've got chronic anxiety, or you've got this, or you've got that. So when somebody does this work with me, the reason they go so deep and they get and they have so many breakthroughs is I don't mask it with medical diagnosis. We talk about feelings. And so if somebody's suffering from anxiety, the first response is, what are you afraid of? If somebody's suffering from some sort of depression, why are you so sad? And then we can come into this energetic process of, far out, I've been hanging on to that shit all my life when I don't have to anymore. It didn't even belong to me in the beginning, right? So there's so many, we're now in super consciousness. We have the availability to desensitize things energetically very, very quickly, opposed to being down in the matrix and the suffering pool, right?
So instead of going to therapy for 20 years, it can be done like you work on the quantum field, like you say.
Yes. But the first step is to bring self-awareness to your own self-evaluation. And when we go through this process, even if somebody does this simple exercise, how is my self-worth expressing itself? They will see clearly, right? I'm working with two groups, one from the UK and one from the US at the moment. And out of 6 people in each group, I tell people, when you elevate that much, people will either come up to meet you or they'll fall away. And we've had some remarkable situations happen, proposals for one.
Oh, are you starting a new group or something?
Yeah, I'm just finishing 2 Venus retrograde groups in a couple of weeks, but this new training that I'm offering is specifically designed for people that want to recover from trauma. They're over it. They're sick of you may have came from sexual abuse, somebody who's abused once versus somebody is abused consistently. We just feel things differently. You don't have to have a chronic trauma. A trauma can play out as simply that your parents worked all the time and you never felt protected or supported or encouraged. This can cause major disorganized stuff going on in the brain where you just don't feel safe or you don't feel confident. So, there's no real right and wrong answer. The only thing that is so amazing is how quickly we can elevate into another realm of this doesn't belong to me anymore, because the suffering has to stop. It's slowing down humanity, right? The progress of humanity.
Oh, they say in esoteric astrology that now in the age of Aquarius, it's not going to be the same suffering like during the age of Pisces, because the age of Pisces, we were paying off karma. People are dying at 30, 40 years old. That's the average, living in like very minimum, just survival, disease. Now in the age of Aquarius, we'll be given longer life. We can see that, but it's the age of overcoming psychological blockages.
Yes.
That's why healers like you are coming and they're realizing they're finding paths of healing, and we'll be giving longer lives so we can work through those traumas. And your group starts next Saturday. When is that?
No. I changed it to the 28th, I think, in US. But if the UK wants a group, I can create one for them. I know I tend to have more US time zones. but it's very valuable training. This is incorporating how to manage your nervous system. Also, we desensitize certain parts and we go straight into the trauma. It's all about the trauma recovery. And so when we look at a trauma response is sugar addiction. A trauma response is binging. A trauma response is failing to show up in relationships. A trauma response is having somebody who consistently lets you down. You know, there's this outside influence of how it manifests in your life. So if you want a different response, we've got to heal the trauma.
Well, for example, I can't remember a big trauma in my life, but I've gone through in the sugar addictions and other addictions, and I can see my daughter as well. She's like self-soothes with food. So I guess we all have trauma. We've not from this lifetime.
We do. And the gift the greatest gift I can offer somebody is emotional security. Because once we get you to that point of emotional security, I just ask anybody, if you felt emotionally secure, what would your response be? Oh, it wouldn't bother me. If you felt emotionally secure, would you go out with that guy? Would you, buy that home? Would you? Oh, absolutely. Because the safety aspect is behind what causes self-worth to be really good or wobbly as, right? And we can't feel good about ourselves consistently when we are using these responses of drugs, alcohol, sugar, food, shopping online, whatever it is. All addiction is trauma response. And even in some psychotherapy cases, Lada, they suggest that even bipolar, ADHD is all trauma response.
We're one traumatized humanity, I'll tell you that. Well, I've seen people that can quit an addiction with willpower. They can be out of the addiction for years, but they're constantly craving it. They're one step away from it's white knuckling it, but it's not the way to go about it, is it? Because it's not a way to live again. You need to resolve it at I've heard something has to switch in the mind, and then and that's the work that you do basically. So it's effortless rather than
correct.
You said you were gonna do an exercise with us today.
Well, I mean, apart from looking at what's on your piece of paper, right, which people will go, okay, my self-expression of my expression of self-worth is really bad in that area, or it's playing out in this area quite well, or oh God, I need to do something over here. And so we could do a quick tapping round to be in alignment with the new moon in Virgo of divine perfection. And that's going to instantly elevate everybody. And you can watch this. I've had some wonderful feedback, thank you, Lada, from people that have watched these videos when we've done a tapping round or something like that. And I've had people come back to me months later and say, I've been using that video consistently. Now I'm ready to do some work with you, right? So it's just been really, really valuable. So do you want to do that?
Yes, let's do something.
Okay. Yeah. And so what I will do is lead it, and then you can say, and everyone at home can say exactly what the belief is or the feeling is that they're using. So how much out of 10 can you imagine if we were all operating at super consciousness? What would your life be like if you truly felt that frequency of divine perfection? There was nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with any of us, right? Just what we hang on to, what we conjure up in beliefs, what we're told, the impressions we get from others. So let's clear that. Yeah. So get your number out of 10. How much out of 10 do you believe you can anchor in this divine perfection? And we'll start. Even though there's a part of me that can't expect to surrender my resistance. and feel into this seed of divine perfection. That I am a part of the sun. I am a ray of the sun. I am divine intelligence. I'm source energy. Because when I look at my self-worth expression, it's not that good. Some places need more work than others. Sometimes I binge and I feel guilt and shame. And I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though there's a part of me that can't expect to surrender my resistance and open my heart fully to this frequency of divine perfection. Just like when I was born. Because say what's on your page, say what you think about yourself. Say any lack in your life. And I deeply and completely accept myself. Back of the neck. When the truth is, all as I have to do is surrender. And by doing so, I allow the space for something to change. Top of the head. And now we go to the eyebrows. I wonder what it might feel like if I expressed my self-worth at the highest level of consciousness. Side of the eyes. I wonder what it might feel like if being of service, sharing my love, my compassion for humanity, my divine perfection was my purpose. Side of the nose. I wonder what it might feel like if I loved my body. Top of the lip. If I loved myself. If my money was flowing consistently. If I let go of my trauma. Bottom of the lip. I wonder what it might feel like if I surrendered all my trauma. Heart chakra. I wonder what it might feel like if I just let it all go. Healed it. Transmuted it through the Pluterian connection to Aquarius. Under the arm, self-esteem meridian. I wonder what it might feel like if I was really healthy. Loved my life. Side of the thumb. I wonder what it might feel like if my expression of self-worth was love. Just love. Pure love. Juicy love. Gorgeous love. Infinite love. Every day. Every night. Beautiful love. And I let the past go and I let it be. And I'm free to be me. in this moment, I'm free to be me. And now we're going to keep tapping and do the eye desensitizing. Look straight ahead, close your eyes, open your eyes, look down to the right. Look straight ahead, look down to the left. Look straight ahead, big circle clockwise with the eyes, big circle anti-clockwise with the eyes. Hum, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Thank you, Marianne. That's fascinating always for me. And you can feel any kind of feeling, situations that are uncomfortable for anything. And can you tell us a few other exercises, maybe not chores, but like example for exercises for trauma that you'll be doing?
Yeah, well, I'm just publishing a book, comes out tomorrow, that's 101 instant relief practices. So anyone that does the course, I'll make sure they have a copy. There's all sorts of things. You see, the point is, Lada, when the trauma is addressed and we heal it, then it's about, okay, how do I build this new muscle, this new vibration? How do I stay in flow? How do I come back to being out of that old blueprint of trauma into a new blueprint of love, life, the whole bit? And so we get triggered from time to time on situations. And so that's the reason I brought out this little book. But I pulled this card for you, Deep Knowing. It's number 43. And of course, we're in a 7-year. And I wanted to give everyone a gift to concentrate on. What's your day and your months?
Whose?
Yours.
Oh, 14th of April.
14th of April. Okay. And so you're in the highest spiritual elevation year, which is a 7. In your 7 months in your 7-year. So anybody who just puts their day and their month down, add it up, +7 for 2023, which is this card. And this is your focus, absolute importance of this new moon and September for the next few weeks, whatever your focus is, it has to be on that vibration. And so if you're in a 3 personal year, it'll all be about emotional change, joy at the highest frequency, worry at the lowest frequency. So the frequency has to rise. And this here, deep knowing, whatever you're working on right now, I want you to ask yourself, if I truly knew the essence of its value that came from source clearly, because that's where you get everything from, can I just allow it to unfold now? Because this is asking you, the deep knowing, tune into the deep knowing. Because everybody of service is here to help elevate the planet, right?
Yeah.
So we must let go of those old traumas. And so everybody who's looking at their numbers right now, so this is why September is significantly important. Do your personal year, Google what it might mean, always knowing the lowest vibration and the highest vibration. So there's 9. 1, if you're in a 1 year, you may have had quite a lot of challenges this year. The highest vibration is to break through the all oneness, make connection with other humans. 2 year, all about collaboration, highest value. 2, lowest vibration and secure. 3, I've already explained, celebration. A lot of people get engaged in their 3 year. 4 is all your foundations changing, job, work, home, great time to sell houses, buy houses. 5, finding your balance, getting out of the head into the body. Also about your communication, thyroid. 6, all about your heart, everything around the home, heart. And 5 is also pregnancy. 7 is spiritual elevation. And you'll be having lots of downloads this month, Lada.
Yeah, I'm in the year 7 too.
So am I. I know what you mean. And then the 8 is all about the old traumas as well, finally letting go, destiny stuff, money stuff. And the 9 is the completion of the inner war going into the Buddha, right? So the 9 is all the Mars stuff. So I really invite you to check out, even if you want a 15-minute free session with me, just to talk about, to see if you want to do this course, I'm open to that. I think Lada will put the links below for the course. And I'm going to do it quite differently to others. I'm going to do 5 weeks on and then 4 weeks off, so you can use the tools, integrate, and then you can have a choice to come back and do another 5 weeks, another 4 weeks on. It's up to you, because everyone's at different levels of progression in their soul journey. And I also wanted you to share, if it's okay, Lada, the most common trauma in the chart. Where do you find that through astrology for you? Is that in...
Oh, you mean how I find trauma? Saturn conjunct a planet, it's always a trauma. It's whichever planet it conjuncts, there is resentment locked in there. There was a lot of harshness. Pluto is hard aspects, Pluto conjunction squares, or if Pluto is prominent, always. And it was usually done in secret. It was usually something that would horrify people sometimes, or domination, power struggles. Of course, powerful 8th house. And that's, I would say, all the emotional houses, like the 8th, the 12th, the 4th. Trauma, I've seen very often, especially childhood, Saturn, Pluto, or the nodes in the 4th house, or near the IC. That's very often. And of course, the most in extreme is when the moon is hurt, because the moon was your mother, your family. Again, Saturn, Pluto, the nodes sometimes can do that as well.
What about Scorpio?
Mars, yes, of course. Absolutely. Planets in Scorpio. Even without difficult aspects, there is strong indication there. And Mars could have been like abusive aggression in some sort as well. So looking at all those, that's why there's barely anyone who doesn't have some trauma. The Saturn trauma is more like authoritarian. You felt like you were boxed in, and you felt you were put down, you were judged and criticized, you are not loved. The Pluto one is manipulative. It's might have been very invasive as well. There is a sexual energy then, the Scorpio one as well. The Mars one is downright aggressive. It's like good old beating, angry words. And of course, Neptune as well could have been Uranus sometimes. I've noticed.
Yeah, so I had Uranus in the 4th house.
Yes,
and
disruptive childhood, a lot of movement, no stability, no
yeah,
safety.
and Scorpio moon in 8th house and 7th house. Yeah.
So these are so I barely know someone without some of those indications, but the more you have, of course, the harder it is, the more deeper in your subconscious it is, the more you identify with it.
Yeah. I'm a little bit anti-medical in the expression how they diagnose. So I never went to NA, AA, GA, any other A. I just kept doing this frequency work and vibrational work and emotional work. And I can promise you that all my addictions simply fell away one by one, the more I went deep. And it wasn't until we cross over to that point of self-absorbed into service that I think the real freedom comes, you know.
So not just working on yourself, because then it's true, it's self-absorption then.
Yes. But yes, it's just such freedom, and it's such a beautiful place to be, to see people just fly, right? And yeah, I'm so grateful in some respects. Like, I'm not grateful I went through the trauma, but I'm grateful I didn't end up in the stats that they say you're supposed to end up, which is pretty much dead. You know, like it can be quite horrific in that psychiatry diagnosis. So and I respect all people's viewpoints, and I just ask that mine get respected as well, when I can see through the filter of source energy and see through the filter of divine intelligence. It's just such a different place to look at it. And I think if we can all elevate to that, everyone's going to be, it's going to be a powerful 20 years ahead with Pluto and Aquarius, right?
I definitely agree with you. This the medical, when you are given like, oh, you're bipolar or your addictive personality or your ADHD, people start wearing it as a badge, and the identity merges with that, and they think that's them, and they cannot change. And it's probably done the most harm in society. Okay, we like as humans to label things, to understand them, but people start wearing this as a badge of honor, as a badge of personality, and they don't think it's actually something that they can, just like people say, I'm alcoholic, or I'm an addict, and they say, oh, it's for life. No, it's not. If you stop and you're free from the desire, you're free from that. You're no longer that. I've seen people with ADHD and bipolar who also have recovered. After bouts of medications, they've stopped and they've recovered. They've addressed some imbalance inside. And it's not something that you're born defective. You are hurt into that state, and you can pull yourself out of it.
Yes.
Hopefully
with the right support and tools, and doing this sort of work is just phenomenal. It's really the answer to everyone's traumas, I believe. Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Marianne. I will put links below if anyone is interested in. Marianne has different services, so to join one of those groups, they're very affordable. Marianne always works in a way that everyone can afford it. It's and create also a group, a community, friendship for life. Or if you want to work personally with her, I'm putting a link below. I hope, I wish good luck and healing on this journey for all of us. We're all on this journey of healing from traumas now. Thank you so much, Mary.
Yeah. All right, my love. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, wait. What am I doing?